Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Millie. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I am very excited to share with you on how I lost over 30 pounds on a whole foods plant-based diet. Okay, so let me recap a little bit. I have been plant-based since May of 2020, and it has been awesome. And I have been whole food plant-based since October of 2020, and it has been even awesomer. I follow a high carb, low fat, no oil diet, and it has changed my life, and it can change yours too. I honestly, this was the best decision that I have ever made in going whole food plant-based. I have just regained so much of my own just confidence, health, just so many things have gotten just so much better since transitioning into this lifestyle. So for the most part, my way of eating closely resembles that of the Starch Solution, which is pretty much your plate made up of veggies, of grains, of your legumes and things like that, your starches and your non-starchy vegetables. And it is how I was able to lose the weight without really thinking about it much, without really having to focus so much on counting calories, on controlling my portions, but I could leave at liberty until I'm completely satisfied, and it has just been amazing. Looking back, even just a few months back, I cannot believe that I have lost the weight that I have in such a short amount of time, and just again, just being fully satisfied, not having to overthink things and all of that stuff. So my weight started at 138 pounds, and as of now I am around 103 pounds, and which is crazy to me because I remember when I first started, I knew that I was a bit chunkier, but I didn't know that that's how many pounds. I thought I was going to get to, if anything, like 115. I never thought that I would go under that. And wow, like I'm here, I feel great. But the best part of this whole thing was that I set out to go plant-based for my health and to see just the benefits of that. And I ended up losing weight as a side effect, and it has been just awesome, as I mentioned before. So when it comes to my health, a couple of the things that I have actually seen progress in is just the decreased inflammation in my body. I used to struggle with a lot of just back pain because I was in a car accident and my back got really injured. And so I was just struggling just every single day with pain that just wouldn't go away. And since being on a plant-based diet, whole foods particularly, I have just, it's rare when I get back pain. It still happens when I eat a lot of more other things that I shouldn't eat, like chips or like vegan cookies and stuff like that. But for the most part, my back, it has just been so much better. I have also been able to see just my energy increase tremendously, and that was within month 1 of going plant-based. So back in May, I actually began to see just the energy levels just skyrocket. I wanted to go walking, I wanted to go running, just because there was so much energy in me that I just felt I needed to release, where there was an evident it was just so evident, because in comparison to even just weeks before that, I had just the standard American diet, and that was how I was eating, and I was just sluggish. I needed just 2 cups of coffee to get through the day, just not feeling great, stomach always hurting. I just felt bloated all the time, no energy. And so I was able to see within a month, I was just like, no way, like I feel great. So of course I'm going to stick to this way of living for a bit longer. And then now it's been a couple months and it's just been awesome. So I want to share the rundown with you on what exactly I did to lose the weight without really thinking about it much, and how you can do the same. I know that there are so many women that struggle with body image, and that was me too. I didn't feel confident. I felt just self-conscious about my body, and it was just not a good place to be. So I want to share with you just what helped me and what can help you too. Even if weight loss isn't, your primary focus, it doesn't have to be. If it's your health, and this is just a great perk that will, why not, feel great, eat great, and then just, have that be a side effect. Like that is just what everybody would like, right? So I hope that you find these helpful. And yeah, so let's start. All right, so when it comes to being low fat, it is not a no fat diet because all foods, broccoli, potatoes, all have even just a bit of fat in them naturally. It's not a lot, but it's in there. And so we don't really need to be adding oils to our diet. It's super calorie dense and it's not nutritious. It adds no value to your body, so it's not necessary. There are replacements. You can learn to water saute, you can learn to use vegetable broth for that, or even air sauteing, and there is no need for oil. So some good fats are like avocado and peanut butter, for example. I love both of those things, and even throughout the time that I did lose weight, I was still adding those things in. For the avocado, I was adding it, but I was just eating 1/4 of an avocado instead of like an entire avocado. And for peanut butter, to make this lifestyle sustainable for the peanut butter, because I love peanut butter, I have it as a treat during my breakfast on the weekends. It is like so delicious. Using a piece of toast and peanut butter, or like almond butter and banana and cinnamon, like that to me is amazing. And so I have it during the weekends, and that just, it's something that I look forward to. It's not even like, oh, I'm, dreading it every single day, like what I typically eat just to get to that peanut butter. No, I enjoy it and it's delicious. And so having that to look forward to is pretty exciting for me. For pastas, I had them occasionally. I didn't completely cut it out, and I was still able to lose the weight. I was also not eating whole wheat pasta. I was eating just regular pasta, and it was fine. I still lost the weight. It just came off on its own. I didn't want to make it complicated, and I didn't want to make it unachievable. So yeah, I just kept eating the pastas. I maybe have it like once a week. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Normal pasta, don't overthink it. It's pretty simple, which is so just funny because I know that in the beginning, in the very beginning, in like May-ish, I was still having a lot more pasta during that time, and a lot more peanut butter and a lot more bread. But during that time, like, I guess as I transitioned into a more whole foods diet, the bread and the pastas weren't something that were fully satisfying. I wanted my beans, I wanted my rice, I wanted my oatmeal, like things like that became much more satiating. And so I began to enjoy those a lot more. So even now, I mean, I don't really have pastas. I'll make pasta for my husband, but I won't really be craving it. I want something more filling, which is just interesting to me how your taste buds and just your body changes and what it craves and what it wants, because it's so used to those filling and satisfying carbs, that come from somewhere else and not just necessarily processed foods. If you are a coffee lover like myself, you might be wondering if you are okay to have the coffee and the creamer and the latte. And for me, as I said before, I wanted to make this lifestyle sustainable. I wanted to be a part of my life for years and years and years. And so I will have creamer in my coffee. I'll have almond milk creamer, and I love it. It gives me joy in the morning. It's not, it's not a battle that I'm willing to fight, trying to just drink black coffee and hate it, No, I wanted to make it sustainable. So for me, I have my coffee with my creamer every single day. Of course, I'm not adding like half a cup of creamer. If you are one of those people, then you do need to work on it. But for me, it's just like a tablespoon or two of creamer. And it's not the sweetest kind of creamer either, but find one that works for you. And if If you love your coffee and it's gonna make it stick, then just go ahead and add your creamer. It's no big deal. It's not gonna stall your weight loss and you're gonna be fine. Also for lattes, I love myself a flavored latte. One of my favorite things is a cinnamon oat milk latte from a coffee shop called Bodhi Leaf, and it is so good. But of course, that one does have, you know, sugar, higher in calories. But hey, you know, I have it as an occasional treat when I go out with my husband or with a friend, and I find it okay. You know, I'm not having it every day, not pulling up at the Starbucks drive-through window every single morning, so that's okay. Yeah, so you don't have to rob yourself of the joy. If coffee brings you joy, then it's okay. Go ahead and have your latte, enjoy it. Don't, you know, don't feel like you're the worst and you're not staying on plan, because this is a lifestyle and let's make it sustainable for you. One of the most difficult things for me in the beginning, I gotta be honest, was adding vegetables in my food, especially in the very beginning when I first started a plant-based diet. Eating vegetables, I would have them occasionally, but I never really had them. So eventually I just began to learn how to incorporate them into everything, like every single meal, trying to see how I could fit them in. So for spinach, for example, I've learned to put them in soups. I hated spinach, but putting them in soups, you don't really taste the bitterness of it. So I learned that trick, and you could do it too. Super easy. One of the things that I learned to do is to cut the spinach up and put it in your salad. If it's cut up, I don't know why, it just doesn't taste as bitter. You can't even taste it, and you can make a delicious salad, throw in some romaine, and you can't even know it's there. You won't even taste it. So perfect way to add it. Another thing you could always add things into is broccoli and cauliflower. When they're steamed, I mean, you could throw them in burrito bowls. You can throw them, oh, the cauliflower, you can probably throw it in a curry, in another soup. Broccoli, I mean, you could just eat it on its own, add some garlic salt, and it's delicious. Let me tell you, it's delicious. Or some everything bagel seasoning, so good. I'm sure you'll love it. If you're not a fan of broccoli, try adding those two things, and it's so good. They're so flavorful. So eventually you'll get used to eating veggies and you'll love them. And it's sometimes what you're gonna be craving instead of like the chips. Trust me, I've been there. Okay, so lastly, the fruit. Go ahead and eat your fruit. Don't be afraid of eating your fruit. It is so good, it is delicious. You can have that in your oatmeal. You can eat it by itself. I love eating just bananas on their own. And just watch as eventually, as you eat and add more fruits into your diet, you're gonna become accustomed to it, where there are times when even me, like I'll be craving my nice cream that I make with just frozen fruits, and that's pretty much it, just frozen fruits, instead of the store-bought ice cream with all the sugar. Like, I don't even crave that anymore, because I'm like, I can make a more delicious one at home. I'm lazy, but I can make it at home. And yeah, or like I'll be craving an orange instead of like something super sweet like candy, when my husband has them around. Like, that's not even like a second thought. I'm like, okay, go for the orange. So much better, sweeter, more delicious. So eventually you'll get accustomed to it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and combine these two, because these two are my two favorite things in the whole world. I'm not even kidding. And that is beans and rice. Yeah, like beans and rice. These two things you can, like, especially, okay, I'm Mexican, so I grew up eating lots of beans and lots of rice, of course, saturated in oil and all that stuff. But beans and rice, add some tomatoes, add some salsa, add a tortilla, add a tostada, add a potato, add, what else can you add to it? I'm not sure. But you could add just so many things to these things, and you could make it delicious. And along with beans, I'll include, you know, like garbanzo beans, and, you know, and you could even include lentils. And it's just so good. I mean, you could eat so many satisfying, delicious things and you could lose weight. Like, these things are so delicious, so filling, satisfying, and you don't even have to worry about, you know, like counting calories or any of that. You could eat the potatoes and you're gonna lose weight. You're not adding all that oil, you're not adding all that butter that makes it, you know, so calorie dense. And it's just, it mind boggles me how even I used to think before this way of eating that you couldn't eat certain foods, even though they were, you know, good for you. I couldn't eat them because I thought that I'd gain weight, that I'd, you know, get chubbier or whatever. Like, no, you could eat these carbs, good carbs, and lose weight. Who would have thought? I didn't know that, and now I do. And I'm like, I was so dumb for so many years for just thinking that depriving myself was going to make me slimmer. And totally opposite. I ended up binging and eating all the chips, all the snacks, because all the foods that I was eating wasn't fully satisfying me. Go ahead, give it a try it for yourself. I hope that this video was helpful, that I gave you some ideas. I lost 35 pounds on this way of eating, and it was no restrictions. It was enjoyable, it was filling, it was satisfying. I was never hungry. And I want you to know that you can too. I hate seeing women just depriving themselves, counting their calories. And it's like, we're not supposed to do that. You know, enjoy the plate of food on your plate. And just, you know, live, continue, eat, move on with your life. Let it be something that fuels you, not something that dominates your life. Like, that's not what food is supposed to be to us. And sadly, nowadays, you know, food becomes everything. It's a whole culture. It's everything around us. And it's just so sad. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that you try it for just a month, 21 days even, and just trust me with this. Like, you'll love it. And if you don't, then hey, there's always going back to the standard American diet and eating all the junk. But trust me, you will just see how wonderful you can feel, how great it can be, and how you can rediscover your joy with these foods. And yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. I hope that this video encourages you to try something new, something where you don't have to worry about counting calories or any of that, or stress over that. So again, you know, hope you found it helpful. Please subscribe and like and comment down below if you want to see another video like this. I'm still not sure how often I'm going to be posting, depending on if people even watch it. But yeah, I mean, I hope that you give it a try.